Hello everyone, welcome back to Ocean Cafe. Now today in this video, I will show you how our formula is derived. This video is related to the earlier one that I've created on how to prove for parameter P. So if you have not watched it, I will include the video link at the end of this video and please check it out. So in this question, we are to express 9 cosine theta plus 7 sine theta into r cosine theta minus alpha. Now by looking at the right hand side, I do know that we will have to apply addition formula over here. So we are going to expand the right hand side, and this will give us r cosine theta cosine alpha plus r sine theta sine alpha. So do take note for addition formula. The sign for cosine here, is opposite. Now, so with this, let me equate, both sides. That means r cosine theta cosine alpha plus r sine theta sine alpha, and equate this to 9 cosine theta plus sine theta. Now, over here, what do you do? Compare both sides. You realize that there is cosine theta, and also we have sine theta on the left and sine theta on the right. Now, so I'm going to compare the coefficient. So what I have here is, that means I look at r cosine alpha. This is actually equals to 9. So let me write it down here. So similarly, I'm going to compare the sine theta. So which means I will have r sine alpha. This is equals to 7. So I'm going to write this down as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label the equations, r cosine alpha equals to 9 as equation 1 and r sine alpha equals to 7 as equation 2. Now I'm going to form relationship. So what I'm going to do here, for these two equations, I'm going to square them, and add them together. So what will I have? So if I square both equations, so which means for equations 1, I will get r squared cosine square alpha. And the second equations, I will get r squared sine square alpha. So if I'm going to sum this together, this will give me r squared bracket cosine square alpha plus sine square alpha. This is equals to 9 squared plus 7 squared. Now, take a look at this cosine square plus sine square. Are we familiar with trigo identity? So if you are, you will know that cosine square plus sine square, this will give you 1. So which means on the left hand side, this will give us left with r squared. And then the right hand side, this gives us 130. So which means from here, I will get r equals to square root of 130. And do take note over here, the value of r that we are taking here is only a positive value. So therefore, we only have r equals to square root of 130. Now, so I'm done with the r. Now, how about alpha? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, take equation 2 divide by equations 1. So if you take a look, equation 2 is sine alpha, and then I divide by equation 1, which is cosine alpha. So r itself I can cancel away. So sine alpha divided by cosine, this will give us tangent. So therefore, this will give us tangent alpha equals to 7 over 9. And once we have this, are we able to find the value of alpha? Definitely, isn't it? So therefore, I will get alpha equals to tangent inverse 7 over 9. And then I use a calculator, I will be able to get the value for alpha. So once I'm done with r and alpha, I am already able to express 9 cosine theta plus 7 sine theta into the r formula form. In almost all questions involving r formula, you will be asked to find either the maximum or the minimum value of the expression and also the corresponding value of the angle. So let's see how we can solve for them. Now, so earlier on, we have already expressed 9 cosine theta plus 7 sine theta into r formula form. So we also know, and recall that for cosine function, the smallest value that it can be is -1, and cosine function can never be more than 1. So I am going to make use of this data to find the maximum value of 9 cosine theta plus 7 sine theta. So which means, I know that the maximum value that cosine theta minus 38.9 degrees has to be equals to 1. So therefore, the maximum of this value, 9 cosine theta plus 7 sine theta, it has to be square root of 130. So putting all this information together, if I'm going to find the max value of 9 cosine theta plus 7 sine theta plus 7, so which means this will give me square root of 130 plus 7. So put in the calculator, I will be able to get the answers, which is 18.4. Correct to the 3 significant figure. Now that maximum value is done, so I am going to proceed to find the corresponding value of theta. Now, what do we know? We do know that to get this maximum value, we have cosine function has to be equals to 1, isn't it? So I'm going to make use of this information. All right, so I do know that cosine theta minus 38.875, this I'm using more than 1 dp value over here, in order for me to get a more accurate value. So cosine function, the maximum value that it can be is 1. So how can I find the corresponding angle? So with this, to get cosine equals to 1, I do know that the angle here, it has to be equals to 0 degrees. So from here, I'm able to get the answers, which means I will be able to solve for theta, which is a corresponding value of the angle, this will give us 38.9 degrees. So this is a standard way of finding the maximum value and the corresponding value of theta. Are you able to apply the same skill, to find the minimum value of the expression and also the corresponding value of theta? So do leave your answer in the comment below, and let me know what you get. Now that I've shown you how our formula is being derived, do take note that you need not show the proof in every question that you solve. All you need is to be familiar with the formula and you can apply it directly. So what we have done earlier, in this example, is to express a cosine theta plus b sine theta and express it in the form r cosine theta minus alpha. Now, what if I give you an expression in terms of a sine theta plus b cosine theta? So by using addition formula, you can express it into r sine theta plus alpha. So the question is, how do we know whether which one do I use? Whether do I use r cosine theta or r sine theta? Now, in many questions, they will actually give you the expression, If it's not, so what you can do is you can take reference from the first function of the given expression. So over here, if the first function, in the given expression is cosine, then you will express it into a cosine form, So if the first function, of the expression is sine theta, and then you express it into r sine theta plus alpha. And then the sign here, you just follow addition formula. So with this, we also know how we can work it out, the value of r. So r, like I mentioned before, it is a positive value that we are looking into. So r is equals to square root of a squared plus b squared. And then for alpha, it is tangent inverse b over a. And then once we are familiar with these two, we are able to express expressions into the r formula form. Hope you find this video useful. I will see you in my next video. Bye.